Good afternoon, everybody, or I should say maybe good afternoon again, everybody. This is our third little go with some technical hitches to get this Instagram live with Mount Allison University working. As ever with these things, it's trying new things and working out, and I think we've discovered that trying to join a live from your laptop may not work. So we will see what happens here and see how we're able to do this. So let me see how we can make this work and whether we can get a request to join coming through. So if Raj or Kute can see the request to join, here we are. Fingers crossed we are there. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Finally, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? I'm so sorry about this.
These things are meant to do it. Don't you worry at all. We now know that laptops to join Instagram Lives do not work, so we've learned something today.
yes.
Great stuff. How are you? How are things at Mount Allison?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. We're well underway with our planning for the fall, as well as working with our students and faculty to bring the new crop of students for the 2020 start. And today is actually a beautiful day here in New Brunswick, Canada. It's actually 31 degrees with a humidex of about 37, so it's quite a warm day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there we are. We're already dispelling some stereotypes about what it would be like to study in Canada. Let's delve into that. Do you want to maybe introduce a little bit about Mount Allison and maybe also, you and your role at the institution?
Sure. Mount Allison University is one of the oldest universities in Canada. It was founded in 1839. We're located in Sackville, New Brunswick. New Brunswick is a province right between Nova Scotia and Quebec. We have a population of about 2,300 students. We are a predominantly an undergraduate university, a liberal education university. We have faculties in Bachelors of Arts. We have science faculty. We have commerce and social sciences faculty. We have fine arts, as well as a music conservatory on campus. Our largest program is probably right now is the Faculty of Arts, very closely followed by Faculty of Science. Mount Allison has been a leader in small classroom education in Canada, very highly ranked by our Maclean's magazine ranking, which is a university ranking system in Canada. We are a public institution. And we have one of the largest number of students graduating from our university to attend a very prestigious scholarships like the Rhodes Scholarships, for example. And we have one of the most number of highest number of faculty who wins awards. So basically, Mount Allison University, if students are trying to picture something in their mind, is a quite essentially a small town university. Basically, the town is built around the university, very safe. Sackville is a very safe, secure area, and it's an area where they'll be able to really focus on their studies, and that will give them a very strong foundation for the future. This is a place where you will be a part of a family. Everybody will know your name. You'll know everybody's name. That includes faculty, staff, students, clubs. And while you're, having a pint down in the pub, for example, you'll see your professor there. You'll be able to, approach him or her and ask questions. So it's a very engaging campus.
Great. I mean, I think quite often some students, when they are thinking about Canada, might be focusing on the big cities that they've heard of, those research-intensive universities, some of which are huge, really, really, really large universities. And what you're describing at Mount Allison and, other small liberal education model universities around Canada offers something really different. So what kind of students do you find are attracted to the model that you are offering compared to maybe, a university with 40 or 50,000 undergraduate students?
I can easily tell you that the students who choose Mount Allison University are quite engaged students, well-rounded students in their schools. They're usually very high academically achieving students, but also they're activists. They're very concerned about their surroundings. They want to give back to the society. They want to be a part of something. They're not those type of students who want to just go to a class, listen to a lecture, then go home. They want to be part of a family where their actions that over the 4 years or 5 years that they're with us will actually make the place much better. They're really curious. They challenge people. Um, that could be, difficult to work with at sometimes because, very smart, engaging students can ask you the tough questions, but those are the ones who really go to do great things. So it's a university where I always tell students that if you think that you want to go to a place where you're going to be left alone and you're just going to basically go through the motions, this is not the place for that. This is a place where people constantly engage you. They'll come up to you to join their causes, their clubs, their societies, their teams. They will ask you interesting questions. And also it's a university because it's a interdisciplinary university. A lot of students will take programs from different faculties. So you could be in commerce, but you could be taking music. And how do you mesh those two subjects together? And the creative minds that comes with the music going into commerce, they come up with really interesting concepts. So it's not an ordinary place.
Great. And we've got some fans posting some messages in there as well. And we've also just got our friend and colleague Carolyn O'Keefe from Memorial also joining. Hello, Carolyn. Thank you for joining us. So a couple of kind of follow-up questions that come from there as well. If students are going to go to somewhere like New Brunswick or we'll plug Newfoundland or other parts of Canada that they might be unfamiliar with, what are the benefits to coming to a slightly maybe less well-known part of Canada? Are there financial benefits? Are there cultural benefits? What can you see from your perspective?
There are multiple benefits, actually. I was an international student myself years ago, a long time ago, and I chose the east coast of Canada or Atlantic Canada really because of its approach to international students and how welcome they make people feel, first of all. And second of all, it's a smaller university, smaller towns where the life is not as hectic. Life can be also much more affordable. Some of the largest cities in Canada are getting quite expensive to live in these days, where, in New Brunswick, your money goes further. Also, for those students who are interested in migrating to Canada or finding employment after they finish their degree or even during their degree, part-time employment, of course, during the degrees, there are a lot of opportunities and there are a lot of great programs to keep well-educated international students in this part of the world, in Canada, to contribute to the society and the economy. There are many programs that will help them find positions related to their areas of study even before they graduate, so that they have a really good pathway to completion of their degree, followed by work experience, and during that time a application to a permanent residency maybe, and then hopefully staying in this area to work. And another great part of it is that where we are in Sackville, we're only about half an hour away from some of the best beaches in Canada. I know people think that Canada, you can go swimming. Are there beaches? Yes, there are beaches. Like Parley Beach and the Aboteau Beach in Shediac are only about half an hour from here. And they're great sandy beaches. And believe it or not, right after work today, I'm heading there.
Awesome. Well, when you say it's as hot as it is today in Canada, I can sympathise. I think also why a lot of students might be interested in hearing is also, as you said, the cost of living and the cost of doing business is cheaper. That seems to be reflected in a cheaper cost of tuition actually as well, in terms of that sticker price that you're able to come in at quite a competitive level, as are other Canadian universities, maybe in the maritime provinces.
Absolutely. Compared to our counterparts in Western Canada and larger cities, Mount Allison and some of our partner institutions in Atlantic Canada is much more affordable for international students. And I always try to tell students that, and their parents, when you're spending or making such an investment, would you want your kid to be one of the 65,000 people lost in a crowd, or would you like them to be in a classroom or an environment where everybody will be able to know their name, engage them, so that they'll get more out of their undergraduate experience? I always tell the story. My sister hates it, but her and I, we chose very different universities. She went to a very large institution, and I went to a very small institution. And our experiences in the university was vastly different. And coming out, I found I'm still in contact with my alma mater, while she's not really feeling that kind of attachment to the university.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a really good point of making about the fit and the experience that you want. And students might be slightly naive of thinking, well, these universities appear on the world rankings because their research is so good without necessarily looking at what the undergraduate experience
Yeah,
is.
actually, that's a very good point, because many students believe that, especially undergraduates, I'm talking about, that if they go to some of these top research universities, they'll be able to actually participate in that research. And unfortunately, it's not always the case. And most of the time, it's not the case, because most of those research is done at master's or PhD level, so the professors are looking to hire from those groups. But at Mount Allison, for example, our faculty is doing research. We're predominantly undergraduate student university, so they have to hire undergraduate students to be part of their research. So, and if a student is looking for that kind of clinical or scientific future or career, having that kind of experience in their undergraduate level will really bolster their resume when they're applying for those prestigious master's or PhD programs. And again, as I said, our students does exceptionally good in getting into those really high-ranked, well-received master's and PhD programs after graduation.
Correct. I mean, I think that is, as you said, exactly the benefit of being a bigger fish in a smaller pond potentially is quite an advantage. When they're doing that program, you mentioned it a few times, the liberal model of education that a university like Mount Allison offers. For students who might be new to that term, it might come from a country or a culture where you go to university to study a subject, be that history or engineering or French. What is the liberal model of education that students would take if they come to Mount Allison?
Good question. Actually, this is a subject, like an area that it takes a bit of a explanation for students to understand, but once they understand, they really are interested. Basically, at Mount Allison, when we admit a student to our university, we do not admit them to a particular major. So they are admitted into a faculty of arts, commerce, or science. However, in their first year, they really have a opportunity to take courses from most of all of our faculties, and actually see what they want to study and understand what they're really passionate about. And we allow them to combine different parts of different faculties and programs so that they'll be able to customize their education to their interests, and therefore have a different outlook than their counterparts, even in the same faculty. So it's a very broad minded learning approach and pedagogy. On top of that, we also encourage them to do paid and unpaid internship as a part of their degrees. And some students ask us, is it like co-op? No, it's not like co-op, because we find that co-op or cooperative education is a very narrow-minded way of giving students those experiences. But we help students here to find those meaningful internships or experiential learning opportunities for them to be able to, again, modify their experience and base knowledge at Mount Allison, which will then propel them into a career or higher education. And I can easily tell that when we constantly survey our employers in New Brunswick or around Canada, around the world, as well as some of the universities and colleges that accept our students, and they always say that there's a difference between a Mount Allison arts grad, a faculty of arts grad, and a random university's faculty of arts grad, because they really come engaged and very well rounded with experience, as well as different expertise in different subjects.
Got it. Great. So for students who are kind of buying into this, they're getting all this, they're watching this live, or they're going to watch back later and going, what, this sounds like a really interesting thing. How can we seal the deal here? What is, the particular thing that maybe Mount Allison have? I'm thinking of, for example, like Bishop's University in Quebec, I know, has its own brewery on site, for example. What are the kind of like the specialist things that you would only get at Mount Allison?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I'm on the spot here. I mean, but we do have a brewery right next to the campus, not on campus.
Well, there we go.
at Mount Allison, we do have a couple of unique programs. For example, our aviation program, where students can take a science or commerce degree while they're gaining their commercial pilot's license.
Awesome.
So when they graduate in the 4 years, they will have a strong undergraduate degree, about 200 hours of flight time, and a commercial pilot license that will get them hired right away as an instructor or for a smaller airline, where they will be able to build up their flight hours to become like a transatlantic commercial pilot. That's a very fast-growing program for us.
Yeah.
But like another interesting part is models that students cannot get anywhere else, is that that access to the faculty at a level where when we say that faculty will actually go out their way to know you and help you, they actually do that, and they'll be able to write reference letters for our students, and not just to say, Kutai was in my class and he was an okay student kind of thing. It will be more personal. It will be much more high level, and they actually, in many cases, will reach out to their own counterparts in different universities or areas to say, you know what, I have a perfect student for you here who will be able to fit perfect into your organization or your research, and then basically you have that kind of connection.
Great. I mean, you mentioned at the start, it's part of a family. I've got this idea of, you said meeting your professor for a pint down the pub. You've got the beaches half an hour away, all that kind of stuff. I think, you're certainly selling it very well in terms of all those kind of expertise and things there. So if people want to find out a bit more about Mount Allison, and they want to get in touch with you or one of your colleagues, how best can they do it? Are you got any of your own live events coming up, any virtual open days or things? What kind of stuff could people do to find out a bit more?
The best way to do is obviously our website, mta.ca, is a great resource. But we do have Mount Allison, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook accounts that students can easily follow to get most up-to-date information. There's also an admissions-related Instagram and Twitter accounts as well. So the students will be able to get more or ask direct questions to admissions office. And we do have webinars happening right now with our incoming crop of students. And in the new year, obviously, unfortunately, due to this pandemic situation, we'll be doing a lot more online and virtual outreach. So the best way to do that is to go to our website, submit a digital card to us that will give us their contact information, so that we'll be able to invite them to all these events, so that they don't have to keep checking their Twitter feed about what's happening at Mount Allison. We'll just announce it to them.
Fantastic, great. Well, it's the last question, Kutai, but now we managed to get ourselves actually online and do the tech, which I'm very, very glad of. What have I not asked you that you would like to say? Your open platform to pitch to people about Mount Allison.
Yeah, the one thing I would like to say to students is that when you're thinking about your undergraduate education, try not to be so attached to certain brand names or cities. Try to understand that this is the basis of your higher education. So you want to be able to have a very strong foundation where you can start in a place where you'll be able to really apply yourself and take advantages of all the services and support a university can give. So please shop around. And I always tell students, that especially international students, that smaller universities are much better suited for their needs to get over the culture shock, get over the different styles of learning, and really engage themselves in the Canadian culture and the Canadian type of learning. So not just to keep their minds open when they're looking at options, and also look at the cost and return benefits, like the return on investment, because you'll find that cost is becoming quite prohibitive for many students. And also, the last thing I will say is that for Mount Allison University, we do have scholarships for international students, unlike many other universities. These are given on academic merit basis. So, reach out to us and say, hey, I'm really interested in your university. How can you help me get there? And our admission counselors will literally stay on the phone with you, or email you for as long as you need, to make that happen. So just don't. One thing I would say to students is to keep your options open and just shop around.
Awesome. Well, that's a great, nice, positive message to send. Thank you, Kuto, for giving up your time and bearing with us. We've got the tech sorted. Thanks also to Raj, who I know is watching for the initial connection, getting us to do this. For those who've joined late, who missed the start, this will go straight onto Instagram TV, linked to the University Guys account. It'll also be on the University Guys on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. So, Kuto, thank you so much. You've sold it to me. Enjoy your time at the beach. I hope one day I can see it in person too.
Yeah, David, thank you so much for this. And we hope to host you here one of these days. And I'll be happy to take you to the beach and also get you some lobster, because we're also known for our lobster dinners here.
That sounds like a really interesting experience. Great stuff. Well, stay well, everyone, and stay well over there in Canada. We'll be back soon with another Instagram Live. We've got some topics coming up looking at studying in France and studying in Australia. So stay well, and thank you again, Kute.
Thank you so much, David. Bye.